So this talk today is sort of a summary of where Vizhub is at, what it is, how it works, and what I'm thinking for the future. So I'll start by just saying what is Vizhub? It's an online platform specialized for data visualization. You can create, edit, and instantly preview visualizations in the browser. It has first-class support for D3 and React. It's built for rapid experimentation and collaboration. The core features include the in-browser code editor, which is an open source project called Vizhub, and shout out to RPI, Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. They have this great program called ARCOS, where I work with students to improve this project. You can fork and modify existing visualizations. In fact, that's the only way to create something in Vizhub is to fork something that already exists. It's got this instant live preview, so when you edit the code, you see it run right away. And there's a new feature called Edit Code with AI, which is incredibly powerful, and we're just scratching the surface. It's just the tip of the iceberg, so to speak, for that. I'm super excited for that. You can just give it a high-level prompt. It will analyze your files and rewrite the files that it needs to change to implement your idea. It also has revision history, which just got working really well recently. You can restore to previous versions, and you can see thumbnails of previous versions. It also has a collaborative environment, so almost like Google Docs, you can invite people to edit code with you in real time. And you can share the link to your visualization. Like as a student, you could submit the link as your assignment, or you could drop it in social media and it will give a nice unfurl. And you can also embed visualizations on web pages. So that's a lot of text. Let me present these same ideas visually with screenshots of Vizhub in action. So this is what the editor looks like. This is an example of this India map that I made recently with the help of AI. You can see a lot of options on the left. You can see the listing of files. It's kind of like VS Code or other popular IDEs, and there's multiple tabs, and there's syntax highlighting. And it automatically runs prettier to format the code for you, so you don't have to think about code formatting. When you fork a viz, it looks like this. You can just give a title for your fork and choose the visibility and click fork, and then it makes a copy of that thing under your account, which you can then modify. And then this is what the Edit with AI feature looks like. You just click this button in the corner, Edit with AI, and describe high-level changes. And it's like prompting ChatGPT or Claude. It's actually using Claude, and you can select from multiple models. I end up switching between Claude 3.5 and 3.7. They seem to be the best for coding, but there are other models available. But what I put in the prompt for this one was just make it more contrast. Use higher contrast colors and hit submit. And then when you hit submit, there's this new display that comes. It shows the streaming AI output, and it essentially generates Markdown, but then Vizhub parses that and updates your files. And then this is the result. Like, it actually works. But then I'm like, maybe that's not the best. So I open up the revision history view, which has thumbnails for all the revisions. And you can see here that I started with a basic world map and then just tried to pull in these shapes for the India districts from a topo.json file. And that's what this red is, just a sanity check, like is it even loading? And then tweaking the styles and then using AI to iterate the colors. And that's the new version I made. But then I can click this other version and it loads that version. I can click restore to that version. And then now this is the restored version. And so the AI editing and the revision history really go hand in hand because sometimes the AI messes it up and you want to go back. You can add collaborators like this, search for collaborator, and then once you add them, it looks kind of like this. And the idea is that with teams, you could invite developers and managers and designers and clients all into the same view to be working on something together. It's got these so-called presence selections, so you can see what other people select as they're working. And it's got presence notifications. So when somebody joins the session, you can see, oh, somebody joined. And then when it comes to sharing, you can customize the URL like this, and it automatically converts it to a string with dashes. That becomes then the URL that you could copy. And then if you drop it in Twitter, like, oh, check out this cool pastel map I made, then it unfurls with the generated image for that viz, and then people can click on it. And this works in Slack and Discord and various things. You can also embed it, and that looks like this, where you click branded or white label, which is a paid feature. So if you embed this iframe, there will be no Vizhub branding, but it will just embed the interactive viz on your page. So that's like sort of a whirlwind tour of the Vizhub features. But mostly what it's been actually used for is education. Like I started it for my class at WPI, Worcester Polytechnic Institute. And I think it's ideal for teaching data visualization concepts because there's no setup. You can just send students a link and all they have to do is log in and they can fork it with zero installation. The assignments and projects are very interactive, meaning you can edit the code, see the thing work. It's interactive. It's not just static generating images like, I don't know, Python stuff. And then you can just submit the Vizhub link into an existing learning management system like Canvas is what I use at WPI. So the common pattern is, the teacher comes up with some starter examples and then shares that with the students, and then they fork that and modify it for the assignments. And I'm sure you've experienced this. And there's a comment feature in Vizhub, which is still in the works. Like it doesn't actually send the notifications, but you can comment on somebody's viz, and the idea is that's for giving feedback directly in the platform. So yeah, the idea is that it encourages exploratory learning and experimentation. And the whole idea with Vizhub is to make it fun, like make coding fun. Just experiencing the joy of editing the code, seeing something visual pop up, and making it better. It's just so joyful. A little on the AI-powered coding, the Edit with AI feature, you can start with a starter template like a Hello HTML, and if you use Claude 3.7 Sonnet, you can give it a lot of instructions for like build me an entire app. Like I made a bakery website the other day. I should show you that one. So it can generate entire things from scratch. That's called one-shotting in the AI space. But it can also make surgical edits. Like if you're stuck on getting something to work, what you can do is add a comment in the code and say like, to do, fix this thing that's broken. And if you include the console output in the code, then the AI can figure out what's going on. And the way it works is it rewrites entire files, but only the ones that need to change. So it works best for visualizations that are set up as many smaller modules as opposed to like one big file, because the AI has to rewrite the whole thing. So yeah, you can unblock on technical challenges. It uses Open Router under the hood, which is a company that provides access to all the various latest and greatest LLMs. And the idea is like for professional use, it can accelerate prototyping and exploration. The best models nowadays are very creative. And what I like to do too is try the same prompt for different models and see what they come up with. You can accomplish in minutes what would normally take days or be impossible if you don't know coding. And if the AI breaks it, just restore to the previous version. It's okay. Also, Vizhub is open source. The core platform is Vizhub. There's the VZ code editor. There's the Vizhub runtime, which is what translates the data files, which are essentially data, file name, file text. Take a collection of those and convert that into a runnable program. It's kind of like Vite, but it runs in the browser, meaning it uses rollup internally to create the bundle and supports all various things like JSX and whatnot. That's in turn built on this thing called Magic Sandbox, which came out of Ian Johnson's block builder project so many years ago. and I've been maintaining that. It's like the lower level thing that will proxy the fetch requests. Edit code with AI, that part's also open source. It gives you essentially a function you can call to make edits to code, which is built on top of this lower level thing called LLM code format. It's just a parsing and serialization library for multiple code files represented in Markdown in a way that LLMs can understand. So that's sort of a summary of it. To dive a little deeper, just to preview, like it's all on GitHub. It's under the Vizhub core org. The VZ Code project is just the editor. It's built on CodeMirror and React. A lot of contributors from mainly the RPI, ARCOS, which is Rensselaer Center for Open Source program. Edit code with AI is here. It basically has a function that you can call to edit files with AI. There's the Vizhub runtime, and this finally documents and details the subtleties of the various things that are supported in Vizhub, which I know is a pain point for a lot of Vizhub users. Because it's evolved a lot over time. There's different versions that trigger based on different scenarios, and this documents all that. So just to dig in a little bit to this, version 1 is like from 2018, very basic, just HTML support, and it does fetch proxy. So if you can do fetch or d3.csv, data.csv, and it will actually intercept that fetch request and say, okay, is that file here in the viz? If so, return it. Otherwise, it'll do the actual request to the server. So this is how you can load CSV files that are not actually hitting any server, which makes it faster too, by the way. And then there's the version 2 runtime environment, which added support for React. That was huge. You can also author ES modules locally, so using the import syntax, that works in version 2. And then there's version 3, which is, I got a little creative and added things that are very restrictive, but it supports crazy stuff like hot reloading. But V3 supports hot reloading, so you can do the color picker as you pick the color, it hot reloads at 30 or 60 frames a second, which is a really cool thing. But turns out people don't really like these vizzes because it's super confusing. There's this weird entry point with the main function that takes as input a container and then an object with state and set state. So that's a lot of stuff to explain. It's sort of non-standard. But what I'm going for now is developing this version 4, which is vanilla HTML, vanilla ES modules compatible. And I also want to make React and TypeScript work in this new environment. So ideally, anything that would work with Vite, which is a very popular build toolchain for front-end apps, would work in Vizhub too. And one of the biggest motivators for adding support for essentially vanilla ES module builds is that the AI generated stuff uses this and then it breaks in Vizhub currently. So my goal is to make it so that whatever the edits the AI does should run in Vizhub, just like if they were in a local Vite app. So that's the Vizhub runtime package. I can go through some new examples. There's a new section in the Create Viz page called Vibe Coding Templates. Just sort of pick up on the vibe coding zeitgeist or trend. And we're trying to figure out which starter templates work best for AI edits. And some do work better than others. These are all sort of tweaked and tested with the AI editing. And I think the most impactful thing is that they're divided into a lot of small files, which makes the AI edits really good. And then there's also a collection of the basic starters like just Hello HTML, Hello D3, Hello React, if you want to start from really scratch. Let's take a look at some of these starters. Oh, and by the way, the AI stuff, it's so good with 3D. It just creates beautiful, beautiful stuff. Beautiful. So this is I just told the AI, make me a cube of colorful spheres. And it did it, and it's interactive too. I can drag this thing. It's awesome. And so I kind of want to try some live demos. Does anyone have any cool ideas for something 3D that we could make? 3D airplane, love it. Thank you. Someone said 3D airplane. Let's see what you got, Mr. AI. This is 3.7 Sonnet. And by the way, there's these different models. The latest DeepSeek is actually pretty good. Um, this Gemini one is really fast. And these other ones are decent at coding, but the Claude models I find most reliable. So I'm going to click submit. And it says kicking off AI generation. And it's probably going to take a while because it spits out a lot of code. And it understands the assignment. It also updates the README, which is incredible. Um, and it's all open source. So if anyone here is interested in this LLM stuff, do check out the repo. So I'll let that spin for a while. It'll take a while. I'll come back to it. This is the V3 template. See, it's a lot of files, and they're all pretty small. And this one, actually, I was in touch with someone who wanted to make BBC-themed graphics, and so that's what this is, or attempts to be. I think it's interactive too. Yeah, you can hover. So, like, if you have another data set you want to visualize, you could just drop it in here and say edit with AI and like modify this to visualize this other data set. And I want to add more tutorials and stuff. Oh, look, it worked. Look, this is the result from our thing that we just did. Isn't that wild? It's got zooming and everything. And it's like pretty basic, but hey, I mean, in what, 30 seconds we came up with a 3D airplane? Like, that would have been a project that takes somebody a week, complete with the rotating propellers. I mean, I'm always impressed. I continue to be impressed with this stuff, and it blows my mind that not more people are like using Vizhub. Maybe just nobody knows about it, but it's just like the AI stuff has gotten so good. It's like out of hand, you know? And we can see, like, this is a one-shot prompt with AI, this difference. And while we're looking at the 3D stuff, let me show you some of the things that my wife Nita made. She's been getting into this 3D stuff too a lot. She made this crazy Milky Way galaxy with the AI coding. And it's got like tooltips and the shooting stars and sliders, rotation speed. You can see the galaxy slowly rotating, the spiral arm slider. Like, it's just wild. And it's got zooming too. It's pretty smooth. And it even picked a font and pulled it in from Google Fonts. Amazing. And then the 3D stuff, she was thinking about the brain and ended up making this really nice like 3D brain structure diagram. And this is again forked from, I think, the grid of spheres example. So that's why I put that as a vibe coding template, because it really does work well with the AI. It's got tooltips and everything, hover effects. And I never knew that Vizhub would have 3D stuff in it at all ever. But that's where we're at nowadays with AI. It's so good at the 3D stuff. 3JS is what it's using. And then she was trying to build a circuit simulator. And this actually works too. Trying to visualize the electrons, how they flow through a system. You could turn on and off the power and it stops these things. And also, when I was trying to prepare for this talk, I started with this Taylor Swift presentation slide, which is also a test of the AI generation, because my daughter was doing a presentation on Taylor Swift. And she was like, "Oh, it takes so long to make the slide." I'm like, "It takes 5 seconds with AI." And then I forked it, and I'm like, and I asked ChatGPT, what all do you know about Vizhub? And it spit out this stuff, and I dropped this into the chat prompt, and it actually came up with this working presentation. So that's cool. Like, we're just scratching the surface. So like, I want to build out these templates into a nice library of very useful things. Let me show you the bakery website. This was a one shot away from the Tailwind starter. This here, which is just a pretty basic counter app built with JSX and React. It's like pretty stock, pretty standard. But then it was a one-shot prompt, like make me a bakery website, and it came up with this. And I'm just blown away. Sweet delights with like a menu and everything, and our story, and even says baking's love made visible. So it's not data visualization, but it's just sort of eerily powerful. To me, it's strange how good, how powerful it is. I made this mind map. Also a lot of AI usage here. Vizhub is all about rapid prototyping and iteration, visual branching revision history, built for D3 and WebTech, easy sharing, collaboration. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. So if you want to make a mind map, you can fork this and say, make me a mind map of, and then you can drop a lot of text in the AI prompt and it will use it most of the time correctly. And I also wanted to show some of the benchmarks, the AI benchmarks. So like, I started with my friend EJ Fox on building a set of visual benchmarks where we take the plan at least is to take the vibe coding starters and come up with prompts like make it a scatter plot of this data set, or I don't know, make a stacked bar chart. We can have a whole index of different visualization types. And then the idea is to evaluate it across different models. And we're starting to build out this whole grading system where you grade the AI generation results, pass, fail, and then like A, B, C, D. And this is just a first pass of like showing that all the models are able to write basic functions like add, multiply, and square. But we're going to add more stuff to this, like scatter plot, or I don't know, sky's the limit, right? So, and this viz itself was AI generated. You can see how we started from the vibe coding template, got the data in, iterated the visual form a little bit. That's very exciting. A couple more examples. This also, my wife made this one. The 3D globe with magnetic field. It's just amazing. Interactive. Trying to make a landing page. It's just okay. This one I like. I tried the newer DeepSeek model and I said make this Menger sponge or Menger. I don't know how to say it, but it's a classic fractal. And it worked. And it's got this really great, beautiful depth to it and multi-level structure. So yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. But moreover, I'm excited to see what the community creates. Like a lot of people are using this. There's apparently a course at University of North Texas that's using Vizhub a lot. And curious to see if you all have anything you would like to show. Like I see some nice stuff like this cool radial stacked bar, and I love just seeing what the latest stuff is. Oh, here's Nita's thing of a protozoa simulation. I mean, that's cool. Beautiful. There it goes. So the future directions for Vizhub is build out the benchmarks, like DataViz AI editing benchmarks. It's going to be amazing. I want to create an organization plan so like educational institutions could have their own account, for example, and make folders, like maybe a folder for the class. I know that could be a pain point now because it's all sort of flat. In Vizhub, there's no folders. I got to add the notifications for comments. Otherwise, it's kind of useless. And this idea from the benchmarking of taking one prompt and evaluating it over multiple LLMs and maybe even multiple starter templates, I think that's really powerful because if we were to automate that, you could come up with one idea, like specify a project idea, even like a final project idea, and give it a starter with the data set and maybe like some ideas or some direction for the visualization and say hit go, and it would automatically evaluate over different starter templates and different LLMs and create like 100 or 1,000 vizzes from just one single prompt. I think this could be the future, in a way, of data viz development with front-end technologies, but I can't say for sure. But that's something I'm looking forward to trying and building. So let me hear from you. What do you think? Like, what features would you like to see in Vizhub? What are the pain points currently? What are the biggest challenges that you face? How can we improve collaboration? And happy to do more AI demos if anyone has some ideas. And thank you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for having me. Oh, and also join the Discord. There's a Discord for Vizhub. This one, the Discord.
Yeah, it is. Cool.
So it's not that active, but I'm there all the time, and that's where I drop new announcements, and you can ask for help or report bugs or just come hang out. And there's a new YouTube channel I created for Vizhub where I've been recording these meetings and publishing snippets of them here. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care.